Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another interesting video, well, also to promote more services that I actually provide, and I have not explained too much on videos and on my website, but I want to also let people know that I do perform cloning and transmission modules and pretty much all computers. And obviously, my main focus is to repair the computers, but when a computer cannot be repaired, I do the cloning service for our customers. All right, so this time I'm working on a 2011 BMW 335 with a N55 engine. This is sent to me by Austin Clem. He is from Santa Rosa, California. So he has problems with his computer. It says Valvetronic uh, activation fault and Valvetronic ball phase line disconnection. All right, so he sent his computer to somebody else first, and they said there was repair. And first, they said there was repair. Then after they said they couldn't repair it, and they wanted to charge to clone and get his computer fixed or clone, sorry, for almost the same price for what a new computer will cost for him. He's a mechanic from the dealer. So he's like, no, 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 just send my computer back. His problem, obviously, is electronics. So he sent me the computer. He said, Mike, can you please help me? I don't really trust these people, and I know that you are very transparent with all the services you provide. I said, sure. So he sent me the computer. I opened it up, and I found, damage inside the computer, not from burns, not from anything like that. Actually, damage that was caused by a person by hand. So I'm going to show you that first. Let me minimize the window I have here. So first, somebody put a 470 ohm jumper into one of the lines. These are the uh, drivers for the um, Valtronic. But then I'm like, well, first, what are you doing that? I mean, if you're missing a resistor, let's do the right way. This is, I don't know, like a Mickey Mouse, what I call. But then when I analyze more the computer, I noticed that somebody ripped this pattern here and another one's inside the board that make the board worthless, so it cannot be repaired. So I said, yeah, I'm sorry, but your computer is beyond damage that can be repaired. So I said, let me um, find a computer and help you out with that. So as you see, I have right now the computer ready to go connected here. For this, I created a harness that I can connect the Valtronic motor, which I have here. I also have the OBD port, sorry, connected to my MDCI from TapDone, and I have the TapDone ready. I also got the Flex ready to do the cloning, which I probably will show some of the part or some of the process of doing that, which is, I mean, automatic service, easy, right? But yeah, so what I have in here, I got all the powers and grounds and the communications that this computer needs, and also the powers are need to be provided to move that motor. So let's first connect to his computer, right? So the way I have this set up, it should do an auto ID. All right, as you see, it's a 335 2011, and this is bin number. That's his bin number, and we're going to need this because we're going to check that after I clone the other computer. So we have on his, the last digits are B as in Brown, E as in Eric, 5987A5. So let's remember the last digit, A7A5. And you can always come back and revisit that. So when I enter here, since I don't have the entire vehicle, we need to manually select what series are we working, even though we already got the 3 series and everything recognized by the bin. Since the whole car is not in there, we need to do it manually. Well, I need to do it manually for bench test. If this is in the car, you don't have to do this. Now let's go to the process of this. It's going to take a little while because it's trying to communicate with the vehicle properly, and now it doesn't see the entire car. Again, that's why it's taking a little longer than normal. And that will happen also with the donor computer, which I have for him from, for him from eBay, a very reputable seller, and I'm doing the cloning, but I also want to check to make sure that this computer, the donor one, the Valvetronic is working good, and I'm not going to send a computer that is bad. At least that portion, because I'm not going to do a full test on everything on the computer from a computer that is coming from eBay, right? And that is completely understandable. But at least the main problems, which is the Valvetronic, I do want to search or test that. So we're going to select three series. It's a E90, E91, E92, and 93 will be all the same. So we are going to do that. We're going to drive and we're going to select the engine computer, the DME. All right, once it's here, it does check the bin and everything again. We also need to see this variant index 4D56 and the ECM identifier number, which is the S61257. That should match in the computers that you're using, because otherwise they're not the same family. All right. And that's very important for cloning. When you're doing cloning, you need to also make sure that you match the computer's number. In this case, 7619981. Those are the numbers that you want to match. You can see it has some blue numbers in there. Heath has a tape in here, 23322, which I don't know what that is, but does this, so he sees that that is his computer. All right, first let's read fault codes. And we do have the Valvetronic bull face line disconnection. That is definitely his concern. All right, so when I'm here, I'm just going to click no in there. I can turn this on and off, and this should move. So for this, I have created this foam in here, so I don't need to hold the motor while this is being activated. So I can do the switch in here, and I'm switching it, and nothing is happening. You can see that the warm gear on the Valvetronic is not moving. I want you to see also the change on amperage. When I turn it on and off, nothing is happening. So definitely this computer, not repairable, not working. I can confirm that the Valvetronic is bad. All right, so I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to get out of here and then connect the other computer, right? Before I do that, let me write the numbers in here so we can revisit the bin numbers and you can see the differences. So I'm going to write the bin number that we have in here is BE 598 785. This is Austin original bin. All right, so we have that one. By the way, if you have any computers and you need to repair, please look for Mike Salazar Diagnostics. Yes, my name is spelled different and it sounds Mike and it spells M-A-I-C. Just look for MikeSalazarDiagnostics.com and you can go into my website. Just click in here in the contact button or the let's chat, or you can also scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page where you also have all the videos in here, and then just look for the contact. All the contact information is there. You can fill this form, and when you submit, I will get your number, email, phone, and address. You don't need to put the address. If you want, I will just get email and phone, but if you're going to send a computer, just fill all the information. All right, just a short commercial. All right, so I'm going to end the session with his original module now. Number one is disconnected, right? And I'm going to transfer this. So everything is off. So I'm going to disconnect these plugs. It's a little hard to do with one hand, but it's possible. I actually break the tabs on those two because those are very hard to get in and out. Right, I'm going to put his computer here on the side, and I'm going to move now the donor here so I can do all the connections, right, with you guys, all live on one one video. All right, so we're going to connect the rest of the power lines, and we're going to connect the Valvetronic motor. I want you to see right now the 300 milliamps that we have there are from the BCDI or MDCI, whatever top-down calls that on. I want you to see when I turn this on, look at the amperage and look at the warm motor. I hope you guys see that. Every time I turn it on, that motor is moving. That is already telling me this computer is good. All right, so let's do an auto scan to make sure the computer communicates, right? So because that's very important. And I'm gonna write the last digits of the bin so we know this order computer number. All right, so you can see it's a 2011 335i, so that matches exactly what he has, and this bin number is BE242233. And I'm gonna mark it as donor eBay because pretty much that's all we need this bin number for, right? We don't need it for nothing else. I just need to confirm everything we saw as well on the past, on the first part of this connection, right? To see that the family of this module, which looking at the part numbers, I know is exactly the same, but you want to make sure that nobody has changed that cover and now you're actually working with another computer. I'm always very careful before I send something back to a customer to make sure when they get it, it's good to go. When something like this happens and I'm cloning a computer, yes, you will need to do the Valvetronic relearn, which is, connecting it to the card to get to the limits. And I will also recommend to do the whole intake relearn. That's a process of 450 actuations of the Valvetronic that you need to do. Top Down can do it, Autel can do it, and obviously ISTA original. And that is to relearn the entire uh, position of the Valvetronic through different accelerations. The car will accelerate and decelerate 450 times to learn completely the Valvetronic positions through the entire process of warming up and everything. So then your car responds very good. All right, we're going to do the same thing, manually select, then 3 series, the same thing on E90s too. We're going to select the DME. I know I'm going a little fast, but you can go back to the first part and you'll see. All right, so we got the same variant in here for D56, and we have the same identifier as 61257. Perfect. That is exactly what we're looking for. Okay, we're going to read the fault codes. And we're going to have most likely the relay activation that is completely normal. And the reason this Valvetronic relay activation is there is because I don't have it connected. I'm bypassing that, and now all I'm doing is turning it on and off, but the relay, the computer is not seeing those powers. And that's why also we have in here terminal 87, 3 and 2, and 1 not showing. Why? Because that is part of what the relay of the Valvetronic will supply to this computer. I don't need that to communicate or to test the Valvetronic. I'm only looking for line disconnection on the phases. That is exactly what we're looking for. So that is completely okay. And that is what we have, right? So not a problem. So this computer is good to go. I'm going to do the same thing about turning it on and off so you can see again the warm motor moving. And that is exactly what we're looking for to do every time we turn this computer off. All right, so Austin, this computer is 100% good. I'm now going to probably put you guys in the tripod to start doing the communication or the, sorry, not the communication, the connections from the Flex to the computer. For this, I already have everything connected, so you can see the Flex is on, and I have the selected the vehicle is an N55, and I'm also in the good place, which is this is a computer MEVD 17.2, and it's a E series. This is about the E90s or whatever. If this will be an MEVD 17.2 for an F series, that is not for your car. It has to be for an E series. This is an E93, right? Or E92. All right, so we're going to select in here bench. All right, so please make sure you have connected the ECU as shown in the manual. Automatically checksum correction for all members. Internet connection is required through all the procedures. So we can then see, please make sure you have connected as shown in the manual. I'm not too familiar with this, so let's before we do this, we need to connect the computer. So let's go back here. And in here, I can change different ways of like, I can go over to the last use. Since it's not completely completed, it's not going to show anything. I just connected this, so we're in zero. All right, so we're going to select BMW. I'm going to go over to the second page, which is the 3 Series R. And you can see we got 3 Series, F Series, and E Series. I selected this one and then select the one with the N55 engine. All right, so this is where we are. Um, Let me now put you in the tripod and I'll be right back. All right, before I put you in the tripod, let me just get here. So let's select bench. We go there now. This is checking the license, make sure everything is in here. And this is before we check the status. We go over to manual, and this is going to show us the connection that we need to have for this on bench. So we have all the connectors, and this is pretty easy because it's color coded. So we got version 1 and version 2. As you can see, it's pretty much the same. Pretty self-explanatory and pretty easy to do. So let me see any accessories that we can have in here. Well, yeah, they do sell the cable if you want to as well. This is nice about, Flex. They give you the connection for this MDC17 ECU connected cables. Actually, I might be interested, but a little pricey, $300 to do that. This is just in case you don't want to do uh, a cable connection. All right, so let me put you in the tripod, and now we will be seeing this process. All right, guys, I tried to get you in the best position possible. All right, for this, we need to have his first. All right, so I'm going to just go over the connection myself in here. For this, we're going to use this cable. And I need to put my glasses, so bear with me. Mm. All right, for this, we're going to be using these cables. All right, so I'm just going to put them in the side. It says that we need to put, so I'm going to make sure that we have the computer in the same orientation that I have it in there. So that should be like this. And make sure that you guys are seeing everything. Yeah, exactly. So now I have the same orientation that they have it in there. So let's see. Make sure I got all cables in here. All right, they're saying to connect 46 and connector 3. Looking at this, I'm going to try to get you guys a little more light in here. Not sure how good of that is going to be. That is a good light for me and for you probably. So we can see that connector more. I'm just using the same microscope to get a little more light in here. But so they're telling me, okay, this is connector, sorry, pin 48. So for this, I'm gonna have to get, they got you and they send you. Let me see one thing here. I'm just looking at the cables. Yeah, so this should be good. So we have terminals D, terminals C, terminals B, terminals A, terminals E, and F. So there are different sizes of terminals. Just powering off the other section that I have in here before. So these are small pins. Should be 3 rows, and yes, that's exactly what we have. 46.3 is telling me to use connector A. That looks so big. I don't like that. And I see what they're saying with that. So what they actually tell me to do is to use, we have B, E, and A, right? So that's where you need to connect. You are actually, these pins you select yourself, and I'm talking about these ones. So I just want to see how this fits in here. So we should be on the third pin. That looks good. The only thing I don't like, well, we're gonna have to work with that, is they're very close. I need to have 1, 2, 3 together and then a fourth one. I'm just going to put them in here. Trying to not bend too much this. Okay, they do fit. All right, so we have 3 pins in here. This is going to be very tight to get the third one in there. I'm sorry guys, I need a little more light in here. Don't have anything that's smaller. I do have some, like the E's are a little smaller. Let's see if they fit in there. I can use the Pomona for this, which, not the Pomonas, let me remove these ones. I'm going to try to get this one in here. See if it fits, and no, it does not. Yeah, this is a little too small. This is the E. Yeah, that's not gonna work too close, so I'm gonna try to do something different. Just bear with me, guys. I'm trying to improvise and not take too long for you. Because I have this DuPont. Yeah, you're not seeing too much in there, but I have these DuPonts in here. Let me see if they fit or not in there, because I want to try them on his. And I have to get the light again. Sorry, guys. See if I can get these ones in there. Yeah, and they do fit. So that will be the third one. I'm gonna try to go in order so I can just connect the cables on here, as I'm going to need it on the Flex. So we need to have very tight to connect. And I don't care too much about his. Again, his module is no good, but I do need to read it, right? So let me get a poking device. Yeah, I got that one in there too. So I need to have 3. And the next one is the orange cable on this setup that I'm using. And we will know when we read if any problems arise about connection. But these are less aggressive than trying to use the one supplied by them. They're just too thick to actually connect in there. I think that this is a better fit. I mean, I like this idea, and I have all the cables in here, which are nice and thick. Hang on, let me show you that. These are nice and thick cables, are very, very good quality, but they're too thick to be that close together. So that's what I'm using this, and those DuPont cables are good for that, not a problem. All right, so I'm going to put this Flex cables away. I also ordered the Flex Case Pro for to have the Flex in the storage. I have also the Case 3, and that works out really well. All right, so we got three together. We are skipping the first two pins just to make sure, and I did that. Yes, I'm skipping the first two pins, and now we're gonna have an, a skip pin, so that should be not a problem. Oops. And then the next pin here. Yeah, these are fitting nice and tight. Okay. All right, so now on the next connector, oops, I would zoom out too much. I'm gonna need an extra wire. So they're telling me to go on the next connector. We only need one cable, and it should be on the 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth pin on the first row. So 2, 3, 4, 5. I know I'm in the ways a lot, but I'll show you when I'm done all the connections. Let me just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and need one cable more. Before I do this, let me also make sure that I can actually use these ones in here. I'm going to turn the flex. Well, they need a little more distance. That's why they have those cables like that. All right, guys, let me try to solve this situation with the connections, and I'll be right back so I don't make this video super long. All right, guys, I fixed all the connections and everything is good. So let me just go over with what we have here. So pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. I mean, they do a great job, no doubt about it. So they're telling you to connect pin, and this is pretty good because you touch in here, right? 46, so 46 on connector 3, right? They're all numbers, so the last digit is the connector, so you don't miss where you're going, right? And it tells you to connect it into pin on the flex on A1. So we have again connectors A, connectors B, and connectors E. You can, this is just a piece that is here, you can remove and then you can connect directly to there. I was able to just connect my DuPont cables, male to, yeah, sorry, female to male. And all you need to do is push down on the tabs and then you can get the pins where they go. So let's just double check everything. So we need to connect 46.3 to A1. So if we go over to 46.3, that should be on the connector on the third connector, the third pin. That is a brown cable, and we have a brown cable here, so that is good. Let's check on the other one. That is 42.3. That should be this one in here. That should go to A2. So that is the last connector that I have here. So it's a yellow cable, and that is a yellow cable in A2. Perfect. All right, so we go along. It's still on connector 3. It says to connect another cable that we have here, and that is a black cable, and that should go over to A5. And we have that connector to A5. So all those are looking good. All right, let's keep going to the next cable. That should be 44. So 46.54. So we have a gap in between the cables. So the orange wire should be connected in B5. And we have orange wire and B5. So again, connector B5. So that is good. Following along, the next wire should be 45.3, which is right here, to connector B6, and that should be a red wire and connector B6, and that's what we have, a red wire. Perfect. Following along, Now on connector 1, we only have one cable. That should be connected to B7, all right? So that's a one wire, the white wire, as we have here in the first connector, and it's going to 7. Perfect. And then the last one on this version 1, because they got two versions, is in the second connector. Pin 6 should go to B8. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. It's connector 6 because, sorry, terminal 6 because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But in the row is the fifth pin, and that's where we got the brown, sorry, the green wire that should go connected to B8. And that's what we have, the green connected to B8. So all connections should be okay. We're good to go. The flex is open and ready to establish communication. Trying to move this no longer needed arm out of my way. All right, so we can close this connector manual and we can connect. All right, this is going to try to establish the communication in between Flex and the computer, right? And it's going to tell me if everything is good. It looks like it is. Reading the internal EEPROM, reading the password. So this is just a check to make sure that all connections and everything is good. And we can see all the lights now lighting up on the Flex. Password is okay, perfect. That's a good thing. All right, so status successful. So connection is good. So this is very good. So now we're going to read. Well, what I always recommend to do is read a full backup. All right, so let me move this arm out of the way. So give me 1 second. All right, we got more clarity now. So we did the connection. Now we're going to read. So we're going to have read on the left and write on the right. So let's do a full backup. All right, it's reading the internal flash. The nice thing about Flash also too is show you the battery voltage and the amperage draw during the process, which is good. Again, I don't show this much because I thought it was self-explanatory on my business, but I see a lot of competition that are providing more to understand to the customer. That's what I'm doing this. I also, in the meantime, this is going. I want to show you we do have complete full original version of Alien Tech, the K-Tech and the KS3. I also have the multi-prog. I got the BVDI, as you can see on the bottom from X-Horse, and I got everything that you need to clone. So, and I do all the repairs. I got all the BDM uh, basis when you have to do actually boot cloning or reading of the information. What those are, what is that's what is that, and this is for Flex. This is from Magicsport. This is nice because you can put that on the bench and you can use that little arm, which I removed just to keep it stored. But yeah, so Mike Salazar Diagnostics provide 100% on anything that is ECMs related. So repairs, 100%. If they cannot be repaired, and when Mike Salazar Diagnostics tell you that cannot be repaired, is because it cannot be repaired. Nobody will be able to repair it. Then that is when I provide this service to customers, or when they got, a damaged module from somebody else, and they need to, do this. All right, save backup only, save all. File is ready. I don't know the difference on save the backup only or save all. So let me save all. All right, so I'm going to, these I can save it in there, which I'm actually going to change the directory, and I'm going to clear a new folder. Because this is in Flex version 2. I would like to really do it where I want to have it. So give me 1 second to create a directory. All right, guys, I saved the full backup. Let me just understand or read a little more information in here, because one thing that I like about using multiprog, it shows you the um, the ISN, which is very important because you want to confirm when you are doing this that the whole ISN and everything got, transferred. They are do checking the passwords and they check some errors, so I believe that Flex takes care of that. I'm going to do a read of the EEPROM, which I always do separately because this is a full backup. File is ready. You want to save it? Yes. So we are already in the file, and I'm going to put, it says internal EEPROM, so I don't need to actually put nothing because I already put, a folder specifically for him where I name it original. So I'm going to save that, and I'm going to save also the internal flash. And the reason I do that is because sometimes you want to just add the EEPROM, the EEPROM or the flash separately. Something gets corrupted, something gets damaged. You want to have not just a full backup, you also want to save each file separately. And this is where you want to do like I am doing right now here if you do cloning or programming. This takes a little longer, so let me stop and I'll be right back. All right, we got the file. I'm going to save it as well, and this is going to try to put them in here. So I'm going to show you when this is done. Let me just save it. And this one says internal flash, so I don't need to, put a name. It already puts a name on it. So, all right, so let me go over to the folder. Let me minimize this. Oh, I hope I didn't close it. No, it's still open. So let me go over to the folder, which is right here. So I want you to see the difference in between a full backup, which is a zip folder, and then the other ones are in bin. So let me see if I can open this zip folder. It says just a dump. Let me see. Well, no, it looks like we do have. Nope. Well, no, actually it is in here. So we have the internal EEPROM and we have the internal flash. So let's say this says the EEPROM. Let me open another folder here. So we're going to go to the same file and we're going to compare the sizes because these are very important. You see, this is a bit of a difference. It's showing me that the EEPROM is only 5K and the flash is only 1,200. I have not really extracted, so I am going to do that. So let me go back and extract all. An unexpected error. You're trying to copy in a file. If you continue to do serious error, you see you cannot do that. So let's just skip that. Path is too long. Okay, it's not like in the path being so long. So let's not do that. And this is a problem too when you save a folder with such a long file name. So let me redo this and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I changed the names and everything in there. Just again, I did that for my own folder files and everything. So I'm going to do is now switch over to this computer. So I'm just going to move this side, right? Because we still need that connector, right? And do that here. So again, just you already saw the connection at first. Let me do this and I'll be right back. All right, guys, everything is good in here. I usually saved a file from even the donor ones, just in case I ever need a file to play with. We can do this. I'm going actually to do a full backup, uh, or I should have checked the connections, but it's already done, and I know that I moved the cables perfectly. Oof, actually, it's showing me an error. Let me just see, connect. Really internal flash fail. All right, so let me recheck connections and I'll be right back. All right, check all the connections and everything is good. I went back and then reselect to connect the booth. Probably it needs to read the password and also like what it's seeing before we can actually read. Again, you can see this is the other computer. And it's gonna just take a little time, but let's yeah, check if password is okay and make sure the connections are fine. Yep, successful connection. I'm going to save myself some time because I'm already late. This is almost 9 p.m. at night. Yes, I do, and go beyond uh, trying to help customers. So I'm going to write a full backup, upload a file, okay, upload a file here, and then we're going to select the full backup. This should be contained. You don't have to do nothing, just select the full backup. And what I want to do after is just connect it over to the computer with the scanner and make sure that we can read the correct bin number and everything in there. Now his original bin number in here. Upload a file, full backup. Yeah, upload. All right, so we're ready to do the full backup. Checksum calculation, internal flash, and it's writing, which as you guys can see, is actually going really quick. I'm gonna stop the video and be right back when it's completely done. All right, guys, the full backup is already writing onto or reading onto this new module. So what I'm going to do now is disconnect the Flex. I can actually just close the Flex and then disconnect the computer and then connect it over to here and then do the try of the bin and everything. So I'm going to put you here. In the meantime, I'm doing that so you guys can see a little bit of what I'm doing. Sorry for the fingers in there. This should be very quick. And these DuPont connectors work out really, really well for all this, especially for these small pins. They actually fit nice and tight, better than what I have coming from the original Flex. All right, so I'm just going to move the camera a little bit so you guys can see. Yeah, I think that is good enough. What I'm doing in here, which is going to be connecting the computer back again to this. I'm going to turn the bench power supply on. All right, we have that one in here. And then the Valvetronic motor here, which should be only in one direction to plug in. Let me get a scanner. To have all turned off. All right, the top down is booting on. I'm going to do the activation. Well, let's turn this on so the MDCI can power on. All right, it's booting on. I'm going to wait till like it's fully booted. All right, we're pretty much there. And let's turn this on. All right, we can see the Valvetronic actuation, which we knew this computer was good. So let's connect. Right now, we should have Austin bin number in here. And I was going to say to Austin and to all of you, this is a full backup. So this computer should be exactly as his original. So if you have not replaced a Valvetronic motor or you haven't done any repairs on the car, which if a Valvetronic is bad, you need to replace the motor and you need to do the relearn of the intake, that's how it's called, for the Valvetronic, then you can just plug it in. But I would recommend to Austin to actually do the complete uh, relearn of the intake for the Valvetronic. All right, and we got BE598785. BE598785. That is his original VIN number. This is perfect. It's good to go. I'm going to go over to the actuations, or sorry, not the actuations, to the read. so we can see all the data as we saw before. And I'm doing this per, records of my work done to this computer for Austin. Sorry, and I can see now that all his information was shown. Hopefully he doesn't mind. Otherwise, I'm going to have to edit the video for that page in there. I'm going to turn the flex off and disconnect it from here. Now this is no longer necessary. The flex is only butt together in here, so there is no actual bolts in here. They just fit in together. So you want to make sure that you're in a nice and flat area when you're doing that, when you're connecting the flex. All right, we're going to do the manual selection, 3 series, E90s, right? And then we're going to go into drive, the DME. All right, so all that is matching perfectly. The last digits of the bin, as BMW does, is the last 7 digits. Part number is perfect, and then the variant number is the correct one. And we can see the entire bin number in here, so that right there, awesome. And for all that are watching the video, that is exactly what we're seeing. Let's read the full code to make sure that we got no phase problems. All right, so there is actually not even a line disconnection no more in here. That's good. All right, so we don't need to read any of that. We're going to go into read data stream, and I want to see the Valvetronic. Perfect. All right, so as you can see, everything is there, and we have a complete working Valvetronic. I'm going to turn off and turn it back on, just so you can see the actual reading of the angle changing when I move it, and it goes into active. So this is perfect. All right, so I'm going to do it one more time in here so we can see the Valvetronic moving, and it's doing the complete back and forth. So guys, thank you so much for visiting the channel. Again, if you have any computers, any DMEs, and any computers, I mean across the whole board, because with the CAS and with the Flex, I can do pretty much any computer, any transmission module. You're in the best hands. And if you need to repair, you already know my services, my transparency. I'm trying to show as much as I can. I don't want to show too much because, again, the competition tried to pick up my brain and then do what I do. But in this case, I needed to show that, yes, Mike Salazar Diagnostic can provide you cloning services if that's what you're looking for. Not a problem at all. All right, guys, thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Austin, I will be contacting you shortly to collect payment and send this your way ASAP. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.